My preparations first. I'm living on a 200-acre New Hampshire farm. My place is at 1,000 feet altitude, so even if the oceans rise a couple hundred feet I won't get my feet wet. We're busy right now converting the cellar into a storm-proof haven. I have 2 emergency generators, a deep well, a 700-gallon water tank, and a composting toilet. There are several natural springs within easy walking distance, and a 15-acre pond to provide fish and frogs. Your survival if you're in a city when it happens, you and your family are toast. I suggest you head for the mountains and look for a place you can build an underground refuge. You can go the David Booth family route, burying steel shipping containers, and making an apartment out of them. Mine cost about $1,000 each. Another approach would be to buy an old beat-up mobile home and bury it, with the ground around it beamed for protection. In that way you'll have a complete apartment all built in. Underground homes are relatively inexpensive to build and they don't need much energy for heat in the winter or cooling in the summer. You want to run an air intake pipe a couple hundred feet, about 6 feet down, where the ground temperature is constant year-round. You'll want protection from super high winds, plenty of water, food, clean air, and a ham radio all-band transceiver powered by a bicycle-mounted 12-volt generator. You'll want lots of seeds. Make those the heirloom type, please. You'll want a solar-powered system if you're going to have any electricity later on. Banks of solar cells, industrial batteries, and a converter to give you 120 VAC. And lane some spare parts to keep it going. If you can get a local group to prepare for survival, you'll have an even better chance. If Nostradamus and Booth are right, it's going to be a long time before any civilization infrastructure is rebuilt. Roads, fuel, power, and so on could take years to centuries to rebuild. If past pole shifts are any kind of a guide, the old boy wasn't exaggerating. We're not going to have a big need for politicians, lawyers, bankers, stock analysts, airline pilots, and so on for a long time. Maybe hundreds of years. We're going to need savvy farmers. Maybe it's time to invest in gardening books. I remember Art Bell one night interviewing someone who claimed to be a time traveler from the far future. He claimed that a 21st century pole shift put us back to the caveman days for hundreds of years. How come? How come you haven't been reading about Planet X in the newspapers and seeing it on the TV news? The same reason you've never heard the truth about Flight 800 unless you read into the Buzzsaw. And why you haven't seen any headlines about the UFO crash at Roswell or the alien they captured there. Or the salvaged UFOs at Area 51 Inches Nevada, or the success of cold fusion, or why we get sick and how we can cure ourselves of any illness including cancer with no drugs, the fluoridation scam, the danger of vaccinations particularly for babies, root canals, nearby power lines, electric blankets, the real story of Pearl Harbor, aspartame in diet colas causing multiple sclerosis, milk being dangerous to drink, hamburgers being dangerous to eat, sugar being an addictive poison, coffee ditto, medications such as Prozac, Ritalin, Zoloft, Paxil, etc., causing mania, that the use of baby formula instead of breastfeeding causes brain damage, reducing a baby's IQ by about 10 points, the difference between high school and college chemtrails, the Apollo moon missions all being faked, there having been 4 bombs at Oklahoma City, the space shuttle never having proved any value, the space station never providing anything of scientific value, cell phones frying brains, causing memory loss and brain tumors, genetically modified foods not being safe to eat, precognition being scientifically validated, hot fusion never having any potential as an energy source, sonograms being harmful to babies, the sun not causing skin cancer, global warming not being caused by man, a college education being unimportant for success, 10-year-olds easily learning to speed read at 20,000 words per minute, the dangers of mad cow and West Nile diseases being insignificant, death certificate lies covering up fatal doctor and hospital errors. These are the sorts of things I write about in my essays. You'll find I've done my homework. Planet X is going to have to loom in our sky before the media will admit it's there. And, with the official secrecy lid on, it's your guess as to how they will try to explain what we can all plainly see. I wish that David's visions didn't fit in with so many other recent events, and that his history of the world's major players didn't fit into the pattern we're seeing. The Pollyanna in me wants to ignore the whole mess and carry on with my life, ignoring his visions. More than any other single person, I've helped us have cell phones and personal computers. My hope has been to lead the world into a wellness revolution. An educational revolution would be next. Hey, why think small? If the major players haven't finished me off by then, how about an energy revolution? Cold fusion can supply all the energy we need at less than a tenth the cost of oil and coal, with no pollution products.